Hello. On behalf of all Queer AI organizers, we're excited to present our paper, Queer AI, a case study in community-led participatory AI at the 2023 ACM Conference on Fags, Activism, and Twinks. AI and data pose many threats to queer people, including enabling and exacerbating surveillance, censorship, hypervisibility, erasure, and other harms. More fundamentally, machine learning and data categorization fix and assign to bins and spectrums identities that are unique, fluid, and fundamentally unquantifiable. However, queer communities are heavily dependent on online spaces mediated by AI algorithms and data. These spaces include community spaces, spaces to find health information, spaces to organize against oppression, spaces to learn about ourselves. We strongly believe that such spaces should work well for queer people and communities without harming us. More broadly, STEM is quite hostile to queer people. Queer people are significantly underrepresented within STEM, report higher rates of harassment and lower rates of support. This leads to science and technology that not only often fails to meet the needs of queer people, but is often directly hostile to queer people.
Participatory methods speak to a need for critical inquiry within the systems we create so that we adapt to communities with diverse needs, especially those whose voices historically go unheard. This insight then informs our design processes to minimize and prevent harms. Now, including participatory methods in AI can be shallow depending on how it's done. This may emerge as, say, requesting participation or feedback with minimal compensation and influence in return. These forms of parachute science still, however, perpetuate historically exploitative forms of knowledge production. Knowing this, Queer AI first centers the empowerment and self-advocacy of marginalized communities. This means that we prioritize creating opportunities to influence decisions and produce knowledge via the enabling of participation and the reducing of barriers to do so.
Grassroots organizations like Black in AI, Latinx in AI, and others have relentlessly worked towards strengthening the voices of marginalized people in AI through creating community avenues for mentorship, providing financial aid, and numerous other ways. But community-led organization comes with challenges. Handling these can not only influence organizational goals, but studying these can improve future participatory research. The AI ethics community must then value community-led organizing because it is a major driver of making AI more inclusive. Proactively engaging with these organizations enables them to expand their scope in favor of shifting power towards marginalized groups. To that end, we offered a case study analyzing such a grassroots organization, Queer in AI.
In particular, we showcase what Queer in AI has achieved as an organization in the area of participatory AI and what challenges it has faced. Queer in AI operates around the core principles of intersectionality and decentralized organization, leading to many community-led initiatives, such as financial aid for graduate school applications, presence at major AI conferences in the form of workshops and socials, inclusive conference guide, and advocacy for queer-friendly practices for conferences, and in particular, trans-inclusive publishing. At the same time, Queer in AI has faced numerous challenges with hierarchy, accessibility, and funding.
Let's delve into one of our most important initiatives, the Graduate School Application Financial Aid Program. Applying to grad school can be expensive. This can be particularly challenging for queer individuals and those from the Global South. So Queer in AI provides financial aid to cover application or test fees for STEM graduate and medical degree programs. Our goal is to remove financial barriers and promote access to higher education. We also focus on geographical diversity and building solidarity among queer scholars worldwide, recognizing the inequities in financial aid distribution. This can be used for any graduate school program, including master's and PhD degrees. It is open to international applicants and non-US universities. Our financial aid program empowers and supports queer scholars, addressing the financial burden and promoting inclusivity and representation in STEM fields.
Recognizing the need for queer researchers to feel more welcome at conferences, Queer in AI organizes workshops and socials at venues spanning a variety of disciplines. These venues are a key mechanism for building community and power. They serve as opportunities for mentorship for early career researchers and become spaces to highlight radical research on queerness in AI through diverse panels, talks, and submissions in non-traditional formats. Even so, Many barriers of participation exist due to accessibility issues and factors like visas and costs. While Queer and AI provides some degree of support, these barriers continue to limit queer participation within AI spaces.
Over the past few years, Queer in AI has been fiercely advocating and improving queer inclusivity at conferences. Many affinity groups and DNA chairs came together and developed a document for best practices in the form of an inclusive conference guide. We helped in improving demographic collection and data usage, such as names and pronouns at conferences. We advocated to improve queer safety at conferences. This involved implementing our code of conduct with inclusive privacy measures. Additionally, we recommended gender-inclusive restrooms and asked for conferences to avoid for legal names wherever they can. To improve queer participation, we encourage conferences to provide subsidies and waivers for marginalized queer folks. Besides, we advocated for spaces for queer networking and social in conferences. For improving queer representation, we encourage conferences to invite more queer folks as keynote speakers or panelists and prioritizing folks from more marginalized backgrounds. We instituted name change processes in many NLP conferences, and we are in collaboration for even more. To avoid dead names in circulation, we developed a tool for publication chair that will flag any dead names that might occur in your references.
Queer AI operates with a hierarchy-free model to achieve power balance and equal opportunities for all members. However, financial and personal information matters are handled by the Queer AI core organizers for security reasons, resulting in some centralization. Additionally, a de facto hierarchy emerges based on the experiences of the organizers, which can hinder new organizers from taking active roles. To address this issue, Queer AI strives to include active organizers to the core team over time and appoint diversity and inclusivity admins.
Another challenge Queer and AI faces in organizing is accessibility of participation, both as an organizer and a member. Queer and AI structure and operational design discourages participation from many communities. For example, because Queer and AI is primarily volunteer-run and virtual, this discourages participation from 1, those who cannot afford to provide free labor, and 2, those who don't have access to a computer and decent internet. Organizing can further be exhausting as organizers are often in contact with queerphobic situations, which exerts a toll on their mental health. This is supported by our demographic survey, which reveals that for 29.5% of Queer and AI members, conferences exacerbate their mental health issues. Additionally, Queer and AI events are primarily at conferences held in the global north, and most organizers work at US and European institutions. Organizer meetings are further often aligned with American and European time zones and require English proficiency. Queer and AI hires expert human transcription services for conference events, but cannot afford to do so for every organizer meeting. As a consequence of such accessibility barriers, Queer and AI has much weaker networks in the global south. This is reflected by Figure 1, which shows that an overwhelming majority of organizers reside in the USA or Canada, including Brain Drain, with the least representation from South America and Africa.
The most pressing challenge Queer and AI faces in organizing is funding. To ensure functioning and administration of our initiatives, we primarily rely on funding from big tech sponsors. While they do not play an active role in our operations, they're still complicit in operation. For the same reasons and ethics concerns, we have dropped many sponsors, including Google in 2021, where we lost about $20,000. But obtaining academic grants is difficult for various reasons. Queer and AI operates independently as a nonprofit, and funding bodies, including NSF, do not consider queer people as underrepresented. Lastly, we also rely on contributions from our parent organization, OSTEM, and donations which have been promising in recent years. To conclude, we implore the AI ethics community to strive for redistributing power and fostering cultures of change beyond just assessing existence or ethics of problems. We are not perfect, but we will continue to address and overcome the challenges and tensions in our organizing as a community while building on our principles. You can help us build towards inclusive, equitable, and just AI futures by organizing with us on the link below. Thank you.